with Chris Parson, I think what I keep coming back to, Ben, is back in the spring when I think it was Dante Moore, if I'm not mistaken, when Zach Blossine wrote that Dante Moore was going to be visiting, five-star quarterback will be on campus. And to be fair, Dante was going to Florida State with a trip with, like, I think some of his 7-on-7 team, or, kind of was like a group tour. So, it wasn't like this like official visit or something like that. It was a pretty general, like he was going to different schools, but it's news. Anytime if we're not writing about a 5-star quarterback being on campus, we're not doing it right.
No.
And Chris Parson went and scrubbed FSU stuff from his social media. And at the time, I think the program, people within the program were confused by that. One, because I don't think they were viewing this Dante Moore visit as like this big shift and turning point. But then also, my understanding is that Chris always knew that there was a chance that a second quarterback would be added to this class. Now, having been committed for almost a year and like that not really being the thing that FSU was doing aggressively, like I can understand that kind of takes you off guard a little bit. But, at that position, to be a quarterback in the perceived bell cow of the class, to kind of retreat that quickly and that publicly and to act that way, I think was an alarming sign. And ever since then, Ben, I was like, that's whether FSU started to explore other options, whether FSU struggled during the season, or whether Chris Parson ultimately still comes to campus, that wasn't an encouraging behavior. Not to get like a psychoanalysis of the mind of a 17-year-old, like you said, it's difficult, but I didn't think that was the thing that was encouraging to see at that position group. Or at that specific position. And I think FSU goes through the spring evaluating Chris, and like they like him. They think Chris has good tools to him, good physical tools. But I don't think they're in love with it. And I think that shows in the sense that they started looking through that spring eval period at him, and then some other quarterbacks, Brock Glenn and Rickie Collins, ended up getting offers. This isn't something that FSU planned to do for a long time, but it's something I think, again, going through the spring, they said, all right, we think these guys are attainable if we can be aggressive. We know there's a calculated risk if we go ahead and offer them that we may lose Chris Parson. Is Chris going to be the guy who gets Florida State where it needs to be in a few years based on some of the things we've seen, whether him not developing quite to the extent you would like to physically? That's, again, there's not none that I'm saying is that he's bad. I'm providing nuance here. Is like he's solid. He's a potentially good Power 5 quarterback. Is he a program changer? I don't think they feel that way about him. And then I think the Dante Moore situation, I think, also kind of shook people there with him and his commitment to the program and leadership abilities. So you go ahead and you start expanding your quarterback board and you say, okay, we'll roll the dice, potentially taking another quarterback, scare Chris away. That's something then you have to weigh the pros and cons. Ultimately, they really, really like Brock Glenn. I think they've taken their shot at Rickie Collins. They both have been in for official visits. I think Rickie Collins is probably going to be Purdue, or if LSU comes knocking, which I think they ultimately will, depending on some of the dominoes fall. I think it's ultimately Brock Glenn is like their top of their board right now, and he's narrowing down his list. I think he just put out his final 5 today. Florida State's on it. The schools who are probably in the mix for him, Ohio State, depending on, again, there's some dominoes that need to fall in place. Maybe Texas A&M, again, dominoes. And then Auburn, I think, is the main threat for him too, in terms of like schools that like have him atop their wish list and don't have other quarterbacks in play right now. It's Florida State and probably Auburn. And so I say all that with, you asked me for a percentage on Chris Parson. We have him right now as a projected official visitor this weekend. That was the case earlier in the week. We've reached out to Chris to get confirmation, haven't heard back. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make it to campus this week. I think that's very much so a coin flip right now, Ben. We'll see. I think it'll be telling. If he shows up to campus, it's hard to see him flipping in the near future here. If he doesn't show up, then I think the writing's kind of on the wall. I think ultimately by the time this is all said and done, whenever December signing period comes, I would put like a 20% chance that Chris Parson is in this class. I think it's less likely that he stays a part of the Florida State class than it is likely he remains.